Hey, what up everyone? I'm Sinnycool and this is Gems of War. And today I have 6 teams for you for the Silverglade UNDERSPIRE and the Silver Necropolis faction event. So I got the UNDERSPIRE up here first. These first 2 teams are kind of just like go fast teams, but they are the high and mid-level teams. And then I have a third team, which I think could take you all the way, even deep, on the 7th Dragon. So use these early or use a variation of them. They're just kind of ideas. You could definitely tweak this team into something else that could go further, but it's kind of for the early ones, for the free battles to like 3rd, 4th Dragon. It's kind of the idea to get there fast, to get it done for today. And then the last team I got is to get you all the way. So we got, what's his name? Amethylos, basically. So Amethylos, and then the other idea is Princess Elspeth, sacrificing the Magician, I think it is. It's a pure purple troop, so you know that when it sacrifices it, you're going to get a bunch of purple, which will then go into Amethylos, and you just shoot it off after that. The first troop is the, let's see, what's it called? It's the weapon, it's in the Soul Forge, it's the Crystal Point. And I'm using the wrong class here. You should use Archmagus, so your whole team can be Silverglade. I accidentally used Death Knight because I'm leveling it up, but I forgot to change it to Archmagus. So if you copy the team code, make sure you change your class into Archmagus if you want it to work better, because then it will, get extra turns more often and spawn more gems and stuff like that. So Crystal Point, Amethylos, Princess Elspeth, and Magician. Cast the Elspeth, who's empowered, onto the Magician. It'll make a bunch of purple. Hopefully get up the Amethylos. You cast it, you win. If it doesn't, then get up that Crystal Point or take a couple more matches for the Amethylos, and then, just cast it and win. So get up the Amethylos, cast it, and win. Princess Elspeth on the Magician, bunch of purple. Amethylos wipes them out. Alright, here's the second team. It's pretty much the same thing, except for you're going to use Vanya, who can easily get in the Underworld. This could be the low-level fast team until you need the team that can go all the way. We just put Vanya in there instead of Amethylos. But, those dragons, man, you can get them pretty easily these days, at least one of them, and just hopefully you got one that fits into this restriction. But if not, Vanya's easy to get in the Underworld. Silver Necropolis, and legendaries down there are so easy to get because it's the only one available in the drop table if you go to Silver Necropolis and you spend Chaos Shards on the portals. It's even easier to get than, like, other things like, epics and other legendaries in the game. So it shouldn't be that big of a deal for anybody. I think a low-level player should use this team first and then switch into the final team you're going to see here in a second. Another thing I wanted to say is, I heard a little confusion out there as far as the update goes. We're not getting live PvP. I'm pretty sure. I saw one person say it, but it was kind of strange, and I hope not everybody's thinking that. I'm pretty sure we are not getting live PvP. Another thing is, the update's coming out tomorrow, most likely later in the day, towards the nighttime. I have a live stream on Wednesday at, noon or 10 a.m., something like that. Between 10 a.m. and noon EST. So I'm going to be one of the first people that can show you the update, unless somebody does it last night. Or, tonight, I mean. Or whatever. Yeah, tonight. But, yeah, so update, live stream, Wednesday. Just wanted to mention it in this video. But yeah, that's what I would recommend here. Princess Elspeth, sacrifice something that uses pure purple or whatever color you need into either a Vanya or Amethylos or something that hits all enemies hard. And Vanya's super easy to get in the Underworld. Just go get it. Not too hard to get. Alright, here's the team that can go all the freaking way. Now, Suraluin, the Loopers, I know they're not exciting. I know some people hate them, but it's still a way to get all the way through things if you're having trouble. Now, maybe you never have trouble. Maybe you find a way to use Amethylos or something else. But maybe Life and Death. I think that's an option. I saw that after I made my 3 teams. I'm like, oh, I could have used Life and Death there. But I don't know if there's anything that goes with it super good. And it only kills 2 enemies. So Amethylos will clear a little bit quicker most of the time. And then same with Vanya. But yeah, Life and Death would be pretty safe because it steals life, gives you more life, and does true damage to the last 2 enemies, so Life and Death might be pretty good. But I think triple Suraluin with Reflection of Good with Knight class, that way you're all Knights. You just loop the crap out of it. That's what you do to everything these days. If you just want to make sure you win, You want to have that success rate. You're not looking for speed anymore. Your troops are starting to take 2 shots, 3 shots to clear. You're starting to die or something. You're starting to lose troops. You're like, man, I need to switch into something else so I can make sure I don't waste torches, I don't lose battles. So that's when you switch into a Cerulean. The point at which I would probably switch into it would be when Amethylos is not clearing in 1 shot anymore, because it's really hard to get Amethylos up. Unless you're using 2 of them, but then you got like a 28 mana cost you got to fill up twice, with no enchant, with no explode, with no 50% start, really. So I don't know about that, but as soon as my Amethylos isn't clearing in 1 shot, or pretty close to it, you know, maybe clear in 1 shot, clean up 1 thing or something, 2 shots max. But I would switch into Cerulean just to start. You know, I gotta use it eventually, so I'm just gonna switch into it once it stops clearing in 1 shot. But Knight class there, just loop them with Cerulean. Just make sure you're using all Knights, and just cast Cerulean a bunch of times and win. It'll beat the 7th dragon. Target that dragon if it's wiping you out. Alright, here's the first team for the Silver Necropolis faction event. Restriction is purple and brown. So what I did here was showing you a couple life and death teams. So I got this team, success rate, low level, once again a loopy team, just to make sure everybody can get it done. Sometimes I feel like I show certain teams that maybe, you know, on Sunday when you're super duper deep, maybe you can't use the exact team I show. So I've been trying to show teams that can definitely, no question, go as far as you want to go. So we have Cerulean for the Underspire. We got Todd with the sports for the Silver Necropolis. Can go to 500, can do it deathless if you do it right, if you're looping the entire time. I think I went with, yeah, you got to go with Spirit Walker, so you have all War Gear on your team. And if you want to tweak it, make sure you just have all War Gear. Same thing with the Cerulean. If you want to tweak it, just make sure you have all Knights. I just didn't see any good Knights from Silverglade. You know what I mean? There might be some War Gear that are brown or purple that you might be able to use. Maybe Wolf Garrick, but this is the low-level team. So my own restriction I place onto myself so I can help the most people is that I'm not allowed to use mythics and legendaries for the low-level team, or else I would have shown something different maybe. But we got triple Todd into, you know, the Foxfire Tome, I think it's called. It's like the best Todd weapon. It makes blue and green or something for Wargear ally or Volpakia ally, something like that. Foxfire Tome. Volpakia ally, it says. So I would use that Spirit Walker Talker Caller class, double green, brown, minus red, and just loop them to death once again. Not saying you should do that the whole time. I'm just saying if you're super deep and one of the teams starts to get slow or you start dying, switch into that and you'll be fine and you'll get it all the way done. 500. I do have a pure faction for this, and I'll link it at the end of this video, but if it's not there for some reason, you pretty much just use Bone Golem with Vanya. You can either do 1 Bone Golem, 2 Bone Golems, or, you know, 3 Vanyas, 2 Vanyas, something like that. Bone Golem up top is your tank. It can deathmark and stuff, at least some of the time. And then Vanya just there to, you know, it's got like I think it's got a summon on it, and it hits all enemies, and I think it blesses and all that, so she works pretty good, and the Bone Golem sometimes will get you those instant kills with the death marks. Alright, here's the first Life and Death team. This is the high-level Life and Death team that you're going to see most of the time. If you're thinking about a Life and Death team, it's like Peanut Butter and Jelly with the Arachnean Weaver. You know, you got Glaceon and Bloodhammer, or whatever his name is. You got troops that just Divinish Bala, Keelan, you know. You got Thrall and Leprechaun, things that just always go together. Well, you got Arachnean Weaver and Life and Death. That's another one. Maybe I should make a video like that one day. Peanut Butter and Jellies? I don't know. Probably wouldn't get views, like, but I think it's a good idea. But yeah, Life and Death, Thrall, Arachnean Weaver, Leprechaun. Cast the Leprechaun. That'll get up your Thrall at least. So if you happen to not get up Life and Death and Arachnean Weaver, you can then cast Thrall. Then you got both of them. Life and Death early will just wipe them out. 2 of them out, and then you wipe the other 2 out with Arachnean Weaver. Later on, you'll have to weaken them with Life and Death and then finish them off with Arachnean Weaver. You always want Arachnean Weaver to be getting the kills, so if it doesn't one-shot, you want to hit with Life and Death first, and then Arachnean Weaver so you can get the big explode. If you happen to die, which you probably won't because you're stealing life, you got to summon with the Web Spinner, so it's pretty cool. Alright, here's the lower rarity for the Life and Death. So, instead of Arachnean Weaver, we got Shoggoth. Do you ever think about that? It works. It works. It hits the bottom slot. It does true damage. It's similar. It's not the same thing because Arachnean Weaver hits both the bottom slots and goes really good with Life and Death, but it still works. Life and Death, Thrall, Shoggoth, Leprechaun. Same concept, same idea. You life and death them to weaken them, then you Shoggoth to kill them. It explodes whether you get a kill or not. That's what's cool about Shoggoth. And it also has other stuff. It got like silence. It's got like enrage on it. I love Shoggoth. It's one of my favorite troops in the game. And I think it's underrated, Shoggoth. It's an elemental. Does true damage to multiple enemies with an explode, with the silence, with enrage. Like, it's pretty cool. And you could double up on it with like Osha's Tome and like Miraji Queen. Or you can mix it with Vanaxia. I like Shoggoth. I think it's underrated. So yeah, that's what I go with if you don't have a Racting Weaver, is Shoggoth. Just put it in the Racting Weaver spot. Like, share, subscribe, consider joining. It helps a lot to hear good about the channel. Comment below, and I'll see y'all tomorrow, Wednesday, live stream, probably 10.